The bicycle lane. The bicycle lane is the part of the public road reserved for the use of bicycles and two-wheeled Class A mopeds, maximum 25 km per hour. Sometimes the drivers of a moped Class B must drive on the cycle lane. A bicycle lane is indicated by one of the two traffic signs above, or by two parallel broken lines between among no car traffic is allowed. It can be left or right of the road. Sometimes it is colored red, but that is not necessary. A road marking can be a continuous white line or a broken white line in the middle of the road. Such markings can divide the road into 2, 3 or more lanes. This traffic sign, with the pedestrian and the bicycle next to each other, indicates that cyclists and mopeds Class A and pedestrians must use this part of the public road. When the pedestrians and the cyclists are not next to each other, but under each other, then the pedestrians and the cyclists must use this part of the public road. Mopeds Class A or Class B are not allowed to use this part. A white plate can indicate when mopeds Class B must use a cycle lane or when they are not allowed to use it. If a bicycle lane is present, a bicyclist is obliged to use it, unless it is not passable. Within a built-up area, only children younger than 10 years are allowed to drive on a footpath. Outside a built-up area, if there is no bicycle lane and on the condition that they ride to the right in the direction of travel, bicyclists are allowed to ride on the footpath and the raised verges. The cycle lane is a part of the public road. It is not a part of the carriageway. This means that you are not allowed to drive your car, to wait or to park on the cycle lane. Crossing. These two traffic signs indicate a crossing for cyclists and two-wheeled mopeds. The blue one is placed next to the crossing. The red one is placed about 150 meters before the crossing. Cyclists and mopeds who want to cross over must give way to the drivers on the road. A driver may approach a crossing for cyclists and moped drivers only at moderate speed to avoid endangering and hindering cyclists and moped riders when they are on the crossing. Waiting and parking is prohibited. On the road and on the verge on a crossing for cyclists, also on a crossing for pedestrians, and on the road till 5 meters in front of the crossing, also on a crossing for pedestrians. In some places a part of the carriageway is painted, as if it is a bicycle lane. It can be red, green, blue. This colored lane we call a suggested, reserved lane. But it is not a bicycle lane. Because there are no two parallel broken white lines or a traffic sign indicating a bicycle lane. This suggested lane is nothing else but a painted part of the carriageway, where you can drive by car, wait and park. The central road. In a center lane or central lane, car traffic is pushed to the center of the road on narrow roads. The part where the cars drive is demarcated by two parallel broken lines. The side lane to the left and right of the central road is the location for riders of bicycles, Class A mopeds, speed pedelecs, disconnected draft animals, mounts or livestock. Pedestrians can take the left side lane in the direction followed. If cars have to cross or want to overtake each other, they are allowed to swerve to the side lane without hindering other road users. Parking in the center lane or the side lane is prohibited. Standing still is allowed on the side strip, if the berm is not wide enough. End of a bicycle lane. This traffic sign has two meanings. It indicates of course that you are nearing a crossing for cyclists and two-wheeled moped drivers. The second meaning is that cyclists and moped drivers are going to leave the bicycle lane because it ends here. Rules. When a cyclist or a moped driver drives on the carriageway because the bicycle lane ends, not because there is something on the bicycle lane, they have right of way and therefore the drivers of the cars of motor vehicles on the road have to give priority. You are not allowed to wait or to park, on the road and on the verge, within 5 meters in front or past a place where the bicycle lane ends. Cyclists in group. Cycling tourists who ride in a group of at least 15 to a maximum of 50 participants are not obliged to follow the cycle paths, and they are allowed to ride continuously with 2 of them next to each other on the carriageway, provided that they remain grouped. Cyclists riding with 2 of them next to each other may only use the right lane of the carriageway. If the carriageway is not divided into lanes, they shall not occupy more than a width equal to that of a carriageway and in no case take up more than half of the carriageway. They may be preceded and followed, at a distance of about 30 meters, by an accompanying car. If there is only one accompanying car, it must follow the group. Cyclists riding in a group of at least 51 to no more than 150 participants are not obliged to follow the cycle paths, and they are allowed to ride continuously with 2 of them next to each other on the carriageway, provided that they remain grouped. They must be preceded and followed, at a distance of about 30 meters, by an accompanying car. The roof of the accompanying cars must have a blue sign with the image of the A51 traffic sign and below it the symbol in white of a bicycle. This sign must be affixed to the vehicle in such a way that it precedes the group, that it is clearly visible to oncoming vehicles, and, on the vehicle behind, that it is clearly visible to following traffic. At intersections where traffic is not controlled by traffic lights, at least one of the roadmasters may stop traffic in the intersections while the group including the 2 accompanying vehicles is crossing. Bicycle street. This traffic sign indicates a bicycle street, Dutch fietsstraat, French rue cyclable. A bicycle street ends at the next intersection, or where the "End a Bicycle Street" sign is placed. It is a street where the cyclists are the most important road users, but also motor vehicles are allowed. Motor vehicles may not overtake a cyclist. The maximum speed is 30 km per hour. A zone bicycle street ends when you see the plate "End Zone." Rules. In a cyclist street, motor vehicles are not allowed to overtake the cyclists. The maximum speed limit is 30 km per hour.